Hello and welcome to the Banker's View from Sibos video series, looking at all the hot topics here in Toronto. I'm Joy Macknight, Deputy Editor of The Banker, and I'm joined by Julia Persson, who is Head of Cash Management for Large Corporates and Financial Institutions at Swedbank. Thank you so much for joining us today, Julia.
Thank you, Joy.
So what would you say are the main challenges in cash management today?
Treasury is expected to do more with less. The corporate treasury role evolves to become a business partner. Treasury needs to bring a treasury perspective in business decision and understand end customer. So it's not enough to be a good cash manager and create complex cash pool structures. You really need to understand the business. The next challenge is, of course, transparency. And this is expected in all aspects of cash management, from liquidity overview to timely control of your position to even transparency in transaction charges. This is very important. Next challenge would be the one that's been there in the market for quite some time. Treasurers dealing with multiple banks, multiple systems, multiple countries need to automate and standardize their processes. And one of the new challenges is a cybersecurity risk. After what happened in June this year with Persson cyber attack, when governments and banks and multinationals were out of business for several days, it put definitely the different perspective on this risk. It showed the magnitude of the consequences that risk may have on the business. And one of the other newly mentioned maybe risks or challenges in cash management is a geopolitical risk. Banks need sometimes withdraw from some geographies, and cash management is the business with very high client retention. At the same time, clients need to be sure that banks will be there for them in their geographies for the long term.
Okay. This leads on to my second question, which is really around, how can banks really forge a stronger relationship with their corporate customers?
It's actually not that difficult at all. We just need to listen to our clients, and we really need to get their perspective. We need to look at ourselves with their lives. What is important when we talk about PSD2, when we talk about open banking, about APIs, GPI initiative, for corporate sometimes it sounds like we are just throwing a bunch of buzzwords on them. Instead, we need to talk about the value that these initiatives will create for the corporate treasury. Obviously, the strategic dialogue with our clients is very important, and the technology and innovation is very exciting. But before we go to this area, before we start discussing all this interesting, exciting stuff, we really need to take care of the basic stuff. We need to simplify our documentation. We need to standardize payments. We need to take care of the daily business for our corporate treasurers, because then it will allow them to get another perspective, and then we can talk artificial intelligence and all other interesting stuff.
So you mentioned open banking and PSD2. How do you think that's going to impact the bank and client relationship?
I think it will impact hugely. It will give us a lot of new opportunities to create value for our clients. Take, for example, liquidity management. We will be able to create multi-bank cross-border overview for our clients, including several banks in the same liquidity management tool. We will be able to integrate third-party services that not are core services for the banks, but essential for the treasury when they interact with the banks. There is sometimes a discussion: should we banks become an aggregator, or should we be a provider of infrastructure? I do not see any contradiction in this question. I think we should be both. We should create one common touch point for our clients where they will be able to get access to the total suite of the corporate offering that is tailor-made for their needs. And then at the same time, we need to support payments in the other channels where payment is not a focus, which should happen as seamlessly as possible, but supporting a very important commercial transaction.
Okay. And where do you think FinTechs will really make an impact in cash management?
They definitely make a huge impact, and also we can see that our corporate clients are starting interacting with FinTechs as well. So we see some kind of cautious curiosity when it comes to the FinTechs. I hear questions from my clients: will they be there for a long time? Will the relationship be sustainable? What happens if something goes wrong? Who takes the risk? And can we exit the relationship if we choose to? So all these questions need to be answered. This relationship is not set, but I see that we as a banks, if we include fintechs, the best fintech solutions in our core offering, there we can create big value for our clients because we can take on some of the risk and at the same time deliver the good solution for the client.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your insights, Julia.
Thank you.